My mom warned me. She's only after your money. I defended my fiancée. Then I faked losing my job to test her. My fiancée packed her bags within an hour. I sent her a photo of my bank balance with the caption, "Mom was right." And then 32 male, work as a principal engineer at a tech firm. And I have always lived pretty quietly. I drive an older sedan, wear plain clothes, and you would never guess by looking at me that I have a solid investment portfolio and own a 4-bedroom house in a nice suburb. My fiancée, 29 female, was the complete opposite. We met 2 years ago, and from the start, she had a very obvious taste for the finer things in life. She was charming and beautiful, and I genuinely believed she wanted to build a future together. So, I proposed 6 months ago, but almost immediately after the ring went on her finger, things started to shift. My mother, 62F, is a retired forensic accountant. She is the kind of woman who can spot a lie on a spreadsheet or in a person from a mile away. She never flat out said she disliked my fiancé, but she started asking me very specific questions. She pointed out that whenever a massive bill arrived at a nice restaurant, my fiancé would magically need to use the restroom. She also noticed the sudden mountain of designer bags piling up in our closet, all paid for with the emergency credit card I had given her for household expenses. 2 weeks ago, my mother sat me down, handed me a coffee, and told me bluntly that my fiancé was only after my money. She said I was a safety net, not a partner, and told me to protect my assets before I signed a marriage license. I defended my fiancé hard. I told my mother she was being incredibly cynical and that my fiancé had just grown up without much and was finally enjoying some stability. We ended up not speaking for a week after that argument. But honestly, the seed of doubt was planted and I could not stop thinking about it. I started watching my fiancé's behavior more closely. I realized her affection was completely tied to my wallet. If I booked a luxury weekend trip, she was all over me. If we stayed home to do chores and save money, she acted like I did not even exist. I needed to know the truth before I legally tied myself to this woman. I needed to know what would happen if the money suddenly stopped. Last Tuesday, I decided to test her. I left work at my normal time, but just parked my car down the street for an hour to get into character. I messed up my hair, loosened my shirt, and walked through the front door looking completely defeated. I dropped my bag on the floor and slumped onto the living room couch, putting my head in my hands. My fiancée walked out of the kitchen, holding a glass of wine, wearing a very expensive silk robe I had just bought her. She did not ask if I was okay. She just looked annoyed that I was ruining her quiet evening and asked what was wrong with me. I looked up at her, making sure I looked exhausted. I told her I had just lost my job. I explained that my company lost a massive contract, my whole division was eliminated, and I was locked out of the building with only 2 weeks of severance pay. After that, zero income. I waited for her to put the glass down. I waited for her to hug me or say we would get through it together. Instead, she just stood there frozen, her eyes darting around like she was doing math in her head. Her very first question, in this totally cold voice, was about what we were going to do about the country club wedding. I kept my voice steady and told her we had to cancel it and do something small. I said we needed to freeze her credit card and go on a strict budget because the job market was awful and I might have to take a pay cut just to survive. She took a sip of her wine, refused to step an inch closer to me, and said she needed space to process this. Then she literally turned around and walked upstairs. I sat on that couch for exactly 1 hour. The only sound in the house was the noise coming from the master bedroom directly above me. I could hear drawers slamming and the heavy sound of suitcase wheels rolling across the hardwood floor. 55 minutes later, she walked down the stairs fully dressed, dragging 2 massive hard-shell suitcases and a heavy canvas bag. She dragged them right to the front door. I stood up and asked her what she was doing. She would not even look at me. She just stared at the door handle and said she was leaving to stay with her sister. I asked her how she could just pack her bags and abandon me within an hour of finding out I lost my career. That was when her mask completely slipped off. There was no love in her eyes at all, just pure cold entitlement. She told me she had spent 2 years building a lifestyle with me and refused to spend her 30s living on a budget, worrying about bills, or settling for a cheap wedding. She actually said it was not fair to her to build a life with someone financially unstable. I was stunned. I reminded her that I had fully supported her for 2 years, paid off her car, and cleared her student loans. I hit one single roadblock, and she was out the door. She snapped right back, saying I promised her a certain standard of living and failed to uphold my end of the deal. While she was talking, she casually reached over to the side table, picked up a decorative glass vase, and just dropped it onto the hardwood floor. It shattered everywhere. She gave me this small, calculating look, told me not to contact her, and walked out the door. I watched through the window as she loaded her bags into the car I paid for and drove away without looking back once. There was no heartbreak at all. I just felt this chilling realization that I had almost married a complete stranger. I cleaned up the broken glass, waited 30 minutes to make sure she was actually gone, and then pulled out my phone. I opened my banking app to the portfolio summary page, which showed my checking, high-yield savings, and vested stock options. The total balance was well over $850,000. I took a screenshot, opened our text messages, attached the photo, and typed 3 words, "Mom was right." I hit send. 10 seconds later, the status changed to read, "My phone instantly started vibrating." She called over and over again, followed by a massive wall of text messages. She was demanding to know if I lied, begging me to answer, and claiming she just panicked and wanted to come back home. I put my phone on silent, left it on the counter, and called a 24-hour locksmith. By the next morning, all the locks were changed. I packed the rest of her clothes and makeup into heavy trash bags and left them neatly in the garage. Around noon, a police car pulled into my driveway. My fiancée got out with 2 officers, looking incredibly smug. She thought she had me trapped. Since she received mail there, she assumed she was a legal tenant, and I could not kick her out without a formal 30-day eviction. The officers walked up and told me I had illegally locked her out of her home. I stayed totally calm. I explained that she had voluntarily packed her primary belongings, broke up with me because I supposedly lost my job, and abandoned the property the night before. She started screaming that I was lying, claiming she just went to her sister's to cool off after a fight, and that I locked her out. The older officer asked if I had any proof she actually abandoned the house. I pulled out my phone and showed him the security footage from the camera I had installed in the living room a year ago. It clearly showed her dragging all her suitcases to the door, telling me she refused to be with someone broke, intentionally dropping the vase, and leaving. The officer watched the video, handed my phone back, and turned to my fiancée. He told her she voluntarily vacated, making it a civil matter, and that she could not force her way back inside. He said they would stand by while she loaded the trash bags from the garage into her car. Her face turned bright red. Her entitlement hit a massive wall, and she had to load her own garbage bags into her trunk while glaring at me. I thought it was over, but highly entitled people do not just walk away when they are embarrassed. They double down and play dirty. 3 days later, a process server showed up at my door and handed me a stack of legal papers. My fiancée had gone to family court and filed for an ex parte temporary restraining order against me. In her sworn statement, she claimed that during our argument on Tuesday night, I flew into a violent rage, smashed a glass vase near her head, and threatened her, forcing her to flee for her safety. Because she claimed she was in immediate life-threatening danger, a judge granted the temporary order without me even being there to defend myself. And because she falsely claimed she was a resident fleeing domestic violence, the order gave her exclusive temporary use of my house. An hour later, deputies arrived and gave me 15 minutes to pack a bag. I was legally forced out of my own home and barred from going anywhere near my property until the full court hearing 14 days later. That night, sitting in a cheap hotel, my lawyer forwarded me an email from her attorney. It was a settlement offer. She said she would drop the restraining order and give me my house back immediately if I paid her a $50,000 relocation fee. She was not scared of me at all. She was just weaponizing the legal system to extort me and drain the bank account I had mocked her with. I did not reply to the demand. I just paid my lawyer and waited for court. The morning of the hearing, my fiancée sat at the petitioner's table looking like a terrified, innocent victim. When she took the stand, She cried perfectly on cue. She swore under oath that I completely lost my mind on. Tuesday night, threw a glass vase at her and chased her out of the house. Her lawyer rested his case, looking incredibly smug. My lawyer stood up and addressed the judge. He said we only had one piece of evidence to introduce. He handed a flash drive to the clerk who pulled it up on the courtroom monitor. It was the full, unedited security footage from my living room camera on Tuesday night. It showed the entire argument from start to finish. It showed me sitting calmly on the couch the entire time. It showed her yelling at me, packing her bags, and coldly explaining why she was leaving me. And most importantly, it showed her purposely picking up the vase and smashing it on the floor herself while I sat 15 feet away, doing absolutely nothing. The courtroom went completely silent. My fiancé turned pale white. The judge leaned forward looking absolutely furious. He looked right at her and told her she had committed perjury to weaponize a law designed to protect actual victims, just so she could steal a house and extort money. He slammed his gavel, threw out the restraining order immediately, and ordered the court clerk to send the video and the hearing transcript straight to the district attorney's office. The fallout was beautiful. Within 2 days, the district attorney charged her with aggravated perjury and filing a false police report. Because she lied in a family court proceeding to get a protective order, they took it very seriously. She was arrested at her office, which immediately fired her for violating their morality clause. She is out on bail right now, completely broke from paying criminal defense lawyers and facing real prison time. I moved back into my house, fixed the floors, and learned a huge lesson about trusting people. My mother just came over, poured us some coffee, and reminded me that we always protect the assets. She was right about everything. If you want more stories about toxic people getting totally destroyed by their own ridiculous entitlement and a single security camera, hit that subscribe button. It is the only commitment that will not try to steal your house.